I got a letter recently that my property taxes are going to go up $600 a year from now on. I got a letter that my homeowner's insurance is going up $60 a month. My propane company sent me a letter that my propane is going to double this year. They just came and filled up my tank. It was $1,000. That's crazy. Also, as a entrepreneur and business owner, I get my health insurance through the marketplace. So you have the Affordable Care Act. I pay $45 a month. They just informed me that if this bill passes and I lose my tax credit, I'm going to go from $45 a month to $660 a month for health insurance. I need to buy a new car and I can't because the cars have gotten more expensive and the interest rates have gotten so much more expensive. I can't find a reliable car that has the same monthly payment of $450 a month that I've been paying now for a new car. Not necessarily new, but new to me. Groceries are insane, and it feels like every day I get a new email from another subscription that I have, whether it's Netflix, my website subscription, everything's increasing in price. And I sit pretty much every day stressed about money, and yet I know that there are so many people in this country that are way worse off than me, and they're not making it, y'all. They're not making it. What hurts me the most is that there are so many women, especially, that just cannot afford to leave abusive homes and they have to stay in it because of this economy. So are we great again, America? Like, is this what you voted for? Meanwhile, they all sit there in DC, not feeling any of these pressures, not doing anything about it, not giving a shit about the American people. I have been extremely poor and I have been extremely wealthy. And I know from firsthand experience that the wealthy people don't notice it. And most people are pretty self-absorbed and aren't thinking about other people anyway. So we got to talk about this more. We got to raise hell. We have to let DC know that this is not acceptable. Regardless of your party, we have got to help each other.
Living in America right now feels like a punishment. You wake up already behind, you go to work just to stay broke, and you watch the cost of everything rise while your paycheck doesn't move an inch. Groceries are a luxury. Rent is robbery. Healthcare is a joke. And somehow we're the ones blamed for not budgeting better. People are working 2-3 jobs and still choosing between food or gas. Families are crammed into apartments because buying a house became a fantasy. You can't afford to get sick. You can't afford to rest. You can't afford to exist. But they keep telling us the economy is strong. Strong for who? Because it sure as hell isn't the people doing the work. We're out here treading water while billionaires build rockets, politicians trade stocks, and corporations raise prices just because they can. We were promised opportunity. We got survival. And what makes this worse is watching people blame themselves. Like somehow you failed because you can't afford a 1-bedroom anymore. Like you didn't do enough when the truth is the math just stopped adding up years ago. They told us to work harder, but never told us they'd change the finish line. This isn't a country full of lazy people. It's a country full of exhausted ones. Simple as that.
I want to know how the hell people in Canada are even living. I generally consider myself a positive person. I'm like resourceful, but some stuff happened around the property and like, while I know I'll never truly be homeless, like I have family to live with and, you know, like I have options. Like I'm luckier than a lot of other people, but how the hell is anyone existing in Canada? Like I feel trapped. And like I just got a good job. I started in September, but even with that job, it pays less than 40 grand a year. And it's a job that requires like education, and even on that job, like I still can't do shit. I can't buy anything. I can't afford the rent these days. Like I'm just feeling so much despair. And I know I'm normally like really, really positive, but I'm just like, how is everyone else, and are you okay? Because the answer is probably no. And I know I'm lucky. I don't have kids. I have like good family that will support me, but I feel like I can't stay here, but I can't move anywhere else, because anywhere else I move to, I'm gonna be charging, like, the landlords are just gonna charge me like $2,500 a month in rent. Like, unless I move into the middle of literally nowhere where there are 0 jobs. And I'm just feeling really overwhelmed. And, like, I don't know. There's a part of me that just wants to say, F it, and just get a whole bunch of credit cards and just travel and just, like, get out of Canada. Because, like, I know it's bad everywhere. I really do. But, I don't know. At 33 years old, like, I was really hoping that I could at the very least afford, you know, a small house. I don't want 3,100 square feet bullshit. I just want something small, 500 square feet, even less. And yet, it's so fucking expensive. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
We all have to agree that the United States is at its full-blown economic crisis with a lot of unsustainable health, financial, social life getting so much hard for a lot of Americans. One of the people that I bring into this question is majority of white Americans, because you realize that majority of people was sold the American dream that everything will be great, that if you work hard, you'll achieve everything that you need to achieve. The law of meritocracy. And the United States has always been teaching people, you go study, wait for a job, and get everything that you want. But that doesn't seem to happen to a lot of Americans, especially people who really dependent on meritocracy and the American dream. You see, there is a huge correlation between meritocracy and the American dream, because all these lies on a lie that you are told that if you do something, you are going to be achieving greatness in the United States. While this doesn't seem to happen today, we are seeing white American situation getting out of hand. And I'm not saying that black people are now joyriding and now they're feeling good. I'm talking about white Americans, because you understand that they're a group of people that for the longest time, they were insulated by the same structure, the same system that oppressed American blacks. And so when the meritocratic lies comes out and everyone gets to see it in broad daylight, they now came to understand that, oh, this thing is affecting us. And brothers and sisters, we are seeing a lot much of white people coming out and complaining about all these issues. You know very well that it is the structure, that it is the system that protecting them that is coming out, and it's crumbling in front of everyone, and we are all getting to see this. So brothers and sisters, I just want you to think about the meritocratic lie. What did they ever told you about the United States? How did they ever told you that you're gonna make it without working hard? Remember, and I try to listen to people who used to live in the past, like $6,000 to $7,000 could sustain you in the United States, but today you could have $10,000, but it's way much nothing, because as the expenses increases, the wages remain stagnant or even get much low. And you understand that we are having the AI automations and all these things are happening, and they're affecting how people perceive all these things. So brothers and sisters, I want us to watch this video. I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this.
Americans cannot afford to live at all, okay? I just had a conversation with some co-workers, and they told me that some of their family members are actually living in their cars, right? They're living in cars to save money, right? They shower at the gym and they just sleep in their cars to save money and all that stuff because the rent is way too high. It's like nobody can afford to live. The only people that can afford to live, that can afford food and rent, comfortably is you got to be making like near $1 million, at least $500,000. Because even people that are six-figure earners, depending on where you live, they are struggling like crazy. But check this out. These are Americans living in their cars, yo.
Making brekkie in a grocery store parking lot. I eat off the pan because less dishes. Somewhere.
Day 37 of living in our car. We've been living in our car for 37 days. It's been very hard.
I shared yesterday that I have moved into my Subaru because I refuse to sign another lease and give tens of thousands of dollars to millionaire property management companies that I hate. Fuck capitalism. So here are some answers to questions that you guys had about how I'm doing this. Question was, where do I shower? I know a lot of people get gym memberships. I haven't done that yet because I haven't needed to do that. I'm in a little bit of a special situation where my family lives pretty close by where I'm at. They're like 40 minutes away, and they live on a boat now. And so I have access to like the marina showers. I just need their key fob.
Okay, boom. I've been living in my car since May 13th, about 2 months and some change. Let's talk about it. So I bought this car knowing that I was probably going to have to make a tough decision. I do freelance work and video, and a lot of the money will come in late, as any freelance knows.
So how far is this gonna get? Like is this the new lifestyle? Are we gonna do absolutely nothing about housing? Right? Is there going to be just no affordable housing at all? Like no $500, $700 apartments? None of that? Everything's just going to keep being more and more and more expensive? Because right now, there are about 3 million Americans, and you can Google this, right? You can do the research. Google it. There are about 3 million Americans living in their cars or van life, right? And those numbers are going up because people just can't afford anything. Everything's just way too expensive. Something has got to change. Something has got to snap. Something has got to crack. Okay? We cannot have our families living in cars, dude. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, tell me what you think.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because, shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home, and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
Life has gotten so expensive that it's not even worth trying to be frugal anymore. There's no point. You want a crashing out video about cost of living? Here's a crashing out video. So last month, our water bill was pretty high, $217 for the month. It was the highest I've ever had. I'm like, okay, let me look into this. Our usage was a little high. So I talked to my girlfriend. I say, let's try to conserve water. We did everything right. For the entire month, we turned off the sink while we were doing our dishes. We took short showers. I even used a timer during my showers. We consolidated loads of laundry. We did everything we could to save water. And you know what? We did a damn good job. We saved 500 gallons, which is awesome. You know, that is a great improvement. You want to guess how much my water bill was for this month? $215. We used 500 gallons less, and I saved $2 whole. Are you actually for real right now? But Zach, how could this be? The fees and the taxes went up so much in the course of 1 month. That's all we saved. So what's the point? Why am I being frugal about? It doesn't make any sense. Just 5 years ago, my water bill was $130 a month. Granted, it was just myself. Now we're 2 people. I get it. It's going to go up, but come on. There is no such thing as saving money here anymore. There is no such thing as getting ahead, putting together a retirement. None of that. It is impossible. I don't know about you, but I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think anybody can afford anything anymore. And it's getting scary. So, yeah. So what happens if nobody can afford anything? If prices keep going up like they have in the past 5 years, what happens in 5 more years if they keep going up at the same rate? I've seen so many stories from around the world of housing has doubled in this city, or electric bills have tripled in this city. At what point can nobody afford anything? I honestly feel like we're already there. So many more countries are dealing with homeless crises. You hear more and more about cities just becoming absolutely unaffordable. All while there's less and less jobs. Applying for jobs takes years at this point, and if there are any jobs left, they're being taken by robots. So what's going to happen? Seriously, we have to be on the verge of something, right? I mean, it cannot trend this way forever. I just went to the grocery store and bought 4 things, and it cost me $25. A single cabbage cost me $14 in Florida in the United States of America. It was a fairly large cabbage that made a lot of kimchi, but nonetheless, one vegetable should not be costing $14. I've completely stopped eating meat. I'm a vegetarian now because I can't afford meat. It's just also exhausting. I don't have the answers, and I'm hoping maybe you do. Or what do you think's going to happen? Because at this rate, I think nobody's going to have anything in a very short time. And I find that very scary.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a 1-bedroom by myself, paying $1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 apiece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have 2 roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying in rent. And I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make 20 some dollars an hour. A livable wage here is like 30 some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching me from. I'm your host and presenter Eugene Dick Stories. Brothers and sisters, indeed, these are the last stages of capitalistic society that's the United States being discussed in place. We've heard a lot of economist professors, we've heard a lot of geopolitical professors who understand all these economic shifts and geopolitical shifts that are happening in the United States today. Majority of people who understand that United States has fallen are getting to leave the United States. We are seeing a lot of white people leaving the United States, going to try life different places. There are two things that I understand first. The first thing that I understand is that Mr. Donald Trump first is going to make it hard for the citizens of the United States get out of it. And he's already doing it, right? So if you can leave as fast as possible, I'll advise you to leave in the fastest way that you can, because he's right now trying to make it hard for you to leave the United States. Because when you leave the United States, it means that you already are walking up, you're already seeing the dysfunctional society of the United States. So people are being advised, if you can, and you have the ability of leaving the United States, you could use this number one time and leave. People are applying for visas, getting outside. And honestly, the new American dream, as the saying goes, is just to leave the United States. That's all you gotta do. And I hope it's a learning message for some people who are non-Americans who are watching this video. It is upon you to learn that the United States that used to be great, or something that they told you about the United States and how it's great. I hope you learn, and I hope you understand that things are not the way they seem to be. Because while you're planning and thinking that the grass is greener in the United States, they are getting to learn. The citizens themselves of the United States are planning the best way of living. You can imagine a country where it's so much hard to sustain yourself with $10,000. Do you know what that means in any country in Africa? Do you just know how that means? That already puts you in a pedestal where you can achieve everything that you want. You can live in with $10,000 in Africa, regardless of the country that you'll go. Trust me, you can live in an apartment that you want to live, and it will look perfect the way you want. Two, you can live the dream life that you have, that you want. If that's the amount of money that you are getting monthly, I promise you, you can achieve a lot of things. You can do investments, you can, all these things. But with $10,000 in the United States at the same time, you can even barely afford your rent. And that's how crazy it gets. And I think it's upon Americans, whether you're white or a black person, and you're looking to it in the most way of living the United States. In this case, I'm addressing my black audience because this channel is a black channel. So this means that if you're a black person who is looking forward of living the United States, with the amount that you're earning, you could be earning 10,000, you could be earning 20,000, I don't know, 30,000, I don't know, 6 to 20,000, probably that's your bracket, right? You can leave the United States, but you need to put structures that you can always fall back to something, right? I think that's also an important advice to give when people are looking for solutions to these problems. Because honestly, I'm not seeing the United States getting out of this. So the best way you can do is to just find a way of leaving this place, is to just find a way of securing a place for yourself. I mean, it could be in the Caribbean, it could be in Africa, it could be in, Venezuela, name it all. All these places that you can go, that you can achieve a lot with what you're earning. You could start projects. You could start your business somewhere outside. Just know the logistics and conform with the laws of the land in those places. Get 2-3 people that can help you talk to the citizens of that country or that area that they are living. Start alive, start fresh, start new, right? We have countries that are still not contaminated. The United States is like a water which is contaminated, and no one want to put their mouth inside it, including those people who destroyed it. The moment you realize that, is the better. And I understand we have those group of people that are always saying that, oh, I don't want to leave the United States. This is the place that I was born. This is the place that I was die. Okay, we have rich people, right? So if you feel like you're rich and you can sustain yourself, because understand one thing, we have two groups of people. We have rich people that are really tired of the United States. They're rich. They got all the money that they want, but they don't want to spend their money in the United States because they feel like it's dysfunctional. Probably they feel insecure about it. So these are a group of people that want to leave. But as a person, if you're a person who is watching this video and you don't want to leave the United States, I mean, it's okay. Probably you've put systems, just like I've said, you've put systems and you are able to improve, to live with all those, changes, economical changes that are happening. The right word is to leverage and to adjust and use the system on your own benefit, right? For you to survive in the United States right now, you need to have a super thick skin, not just a thick skin, but a super thick skin. Symbolically or metaphorically, if you can call it, it means that you need to have creative ways of making money. And this is not 9 to 5, right? Because we have AI automations that are taking jobs from everyone, and it's getting crazy. Just like I'm saying, United States markets are so much contaminated. But imagine you having a country, probably in Africa, you having a country, probably in any other continent, that's still fresh, that still needs you. So think about it. The new American dream is to leave the United States. I'm your host and present Agent of Stories. But until then, let me see you in my next video. And if you're watching me for the first time, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership. I really get to what I can offer you. But until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.